The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, celebrating 10 years of being the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, we're going to be discussing low-cost and free items you need for your garden, as well as visiting your local farmers market. Our guest is author and social media influencer Steve Bender will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour is full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy that you've taken time out of your day to join us for a little bit. I'm your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you're tuning in, whether you're doing such on one of the 43 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2026 through a radio app, through our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 10 tab at the top of the page, or podcast replay or in-studio video replay. Thank you so much for choosing us to be part of your day. You want to be participation in the program? You can certainly do such by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll-free, coast to coast, at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
What did one watermelon who was expressing his love to the other watermelon say to each other?
We have a lot of relationship jokes in regards to vegetables liking each other, or trees.
It's because I grew up watching VeggieTales, I think. Anyway.
What did one watermelon say to the other watermelon he was trying to court?
Not to court. They're very much in love.
Oh, they're in love. They're already past that. Okay.
He said, you know, honey, we can't get married, or we can't elope because we're already married. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Anyway, this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests such as wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Well, there are things in which we have to invest in our garden that's going to cost us money. But also there's a number of items in which we can find that are absolutely 100% usable, applicable, well worth the item, and you don't have to invest a whole lot of money. We're going to show you and give you some ideals of what those items are and or how to find some of these. So instead of having to buy something for $30 or $40, you can maybe get it for $8, $12, or $15, half price, whatever that might be.
Right. So one thing would be tomato cages. You can often find these on the side of the road when people are tossing them. Maybe they just don't need them anymore. Sometimes you can find them for free even on like Marketplace. People will sometimes just decide that they don't need them, or we've come across them where people were getting rid of them and maybe they just needed like a teeny bit of repair. Right.
Now these are the $2 or $3 tomato cages you get at the hardware store or the big box center. It's not the big heavy duty ones that cost like $25 or $30, but a tomato cage will work. You can stake it. And in addition, you don't even need a tomato cage to support tomatoes. You can do Florida weave.
Right. So you would take fence posts or
T-posts.
T-posts, there we go. And you string them on either end of your row of tomatoes. So you want to make sure you are planting the tomatoes in rows, not like in I guess like a square would.
Well, you just rows is fine, yeah.
And then you take fence posts on either side of that row, and then you string along every about foot or so, and you string along 2 strings. And the way it works is that the tomatoes will grow up, and then they grow between the strings, and you have to kind of help them grow between those strings.
It's like a boxing ring rope. Yeah. You get one every foot, and as they progress up, you let the rope hang off of them. Yeah. So you can get baling twine.
Yeah, baling twine. And baling twine is very cheap, and you get how many feet?
Well, let's say agricultural twine is what these big round bales are wrapped in the field. So it's typically an orange twine, plastic, synthetic. So you get 20,000 feet, which is like 6.5 miles.
It's a lot of baling
for like $26.
More, you might pass it along to your children, and then they pass it along to their children.
True enough, this is not biodegradable.
No.
And
it's orange.
And it's orange. You can get yellow, and you can get natural fibers. The natural fibers, I think, it costs more, but it's a thicker diameter, and it will biodegrade. So we've had our spool of 20,000 feet since probably 2010.
I think it was like 2012.
2012, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're not even halfway through it.
No.
Now, a lot of times, yes, there's some waste to this. We will use it, cut it, throw it away, and spool out new, so we're not fighting with the reusing of this.
Right. So, so you can reuse it, obviously. But that's one item is an alternative to tomato cages to do the Florida weave. Also very cost effective.
You can make different trellises with the string as well.
Another item would be the bottom of baby cribs, or even technically the sides. So we're talking about the spring bottom.
Right.
That's going to hold up a little bit better. The sides, if they're wood, depending on what kind of wood they're made of, they might rot a little bit sooner than the springy bottom.
Well, the springy part has more... The spacing is more conducive for like cucumbers or vine crops to interlace into that web of metal material. The side rails have much bigger diameter wood spools, and it's harder for some of these plants to get a hold of. But we've got three different cage bottoms, and you can make all types of cages or boxes around with them. You may have a baby crib in your basement, and you have decided that children are no more in your future, so why let it sit in a box down there forever when you could take it apart and use it in your garden?
Absolutely. Or if somebody's getting rid of one and they're just trying to get rid of it, and maybe they feel it's too old for a baby to use, whatever, definitely, think about picking that up.
Now, vinegar, it's not only beneficial in the garden, but if you're going to can, it's also and it's also a beneficial cleaner, but you can get it for a fairly low cost per gallon. And what are we wanting this for?
Sure. So vinegar has different uses in the garden, but it's mostly known for getting rid of powdery mildew because the acidic alters the fungus's pH. Powdery mildew is a fungus, destroys the spores. However, incorrect mixture can burn your plant's foliage, so you want to make sure I believe it's a 2-to-1 water to vinegar mixture or ratio.
You're gonna have to look that up because don't quote us on that.
But you want to make sure you're not burning your plants. So that you don't want to apply vinegar directly to your plants, but you want to make sure you are watering it down with the correct ratio, and it does work for powdery mildew because it works the acid. The acidity alters the fungus's pH, destroys the spores. If you ever had issues with powdery mildew, there's many different home remedies, but vinegar seems to be the easiest. And I think the cheapest option, people sometimes use milk, baking soda, and baking soda is also a cheap option, but you have to kind of make sure you mix it up super well. Vinegar mixes with water very easily. And
you can get a pump sprayer, or you can the dollar store or the Dollar Tree or the Family Dollar, whatever one you want, has a lot of material for a low cost. Yeah, it's not top quality stuff, but also it's going to get banged around, probably stepped on. The lawnmower is going to get caught in it, that type of thing.
That's my suggestion always is spray bottles. I use spray bottles for all sorts of things around the home, garden, etc. And I like to get them from what's known as a Dollar Tree or not a Dollar Tree, whatever people want to call it. Yeah. If there's not one in your area, I'm sure there's something similar. And they're a good deal. They're a heavier plastic, so they seem to last a long time. And Now, another one is yard sales. We are in the throes of yard selling, and you can get a lot of things at a yard sale, from knickknacks to actual garden tools, shovels, scrapers, hose, rakes. There's a lot of different things in which you can get, and you can get it for a very low price. And we found a lot of our tools along the road on Junk Day that are absolutely perfect. So you can do that. Now, one thing and saving seeds is another way in which we can save money. We can buy them from junkseed.com using coupon code TG 15TG26 TG
15TG26, my apologies, 15TG26 to save 15% on your order at jungseed.com. And we can save our seeds. We can save tomatoes and peppers are very easy seeds. Bush beans, pole beans are easy seeds to save. Pumpkins.
There's many benefits to saving seeds, not just saving money, but saving your seeds time after time, year after year. That particular vegetable has now been acclimated to your little ecosystem in your backyard. So, for example, your tomatoes, now that tomato is like, hey, I have my genetic makeup to grow in this particular spot. And even though... Ecosystem. Yeah, your particular spot. Ecosystem. So now that tomato is going to hopefully do a little bit better and be more acclimated. And you can do this with lots of things. Except for if it is a hybrid tomato, it's going to kind of revert back to one of the two parent plants, whatever you want to call them. But you can still save the seeds, you know. If you are concerned about some sort of cross-pollination situation, you're not sure if
minimal chance on a tomato.
But like melons sometimes.
Yeah, cucumbers, if you're growing more than one variety, you're just going to get new seeds because they're going to cross-pollinate. Cucumbers, pumpkins, those, you're going to have some cucamelons that there's some cross there.
But you could just see what happens too.
Right.
You know, that could be fun if you get
one thing that may be free that your city may offer is free compost. But pump the brakes. Not all compost, regardless of the material bought or free, can be good. Most cities just pick up a certain genre of materials on the street at a certain time, throw it in a pile, break it down, heat it up over the winter, and then you get compost. You don't know who threw what in there and what toxicity of chemicals may have been sprayed on the particular plants that they threw out in the street or dumped off to be turned into compost. So in that instance, soil is the lifeblood of your garden. It is worth taking and buying it from a reputable source that knows the origins of the materials in order for you to put in your garden and to grow healthy plants. So that is one thing that you would want to really focus on, is not free, is the compost. Hang out with us. When we return, it's time to visit a farmer's market.
You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com. A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA Bio-Preferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safe around pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs.
With Mrs. Wage's canning products, it's easy to preserve what you love. Whether you've always wanted to try home canning or you're a seasoned pro, Mrs. Wage's can help you seal in something special. After all, we've been doing this since 1950. Our products let you hold on to your favorite seasonal flavors so that you can keep the taste you love and create new ones to share around the table. Great flavors and memories are worth preserving. Create something special with Mrs. Wage's.
Got milkweed? You already know it helps monarchs migrate, but did you know milkweed supports people too? If you've ever wished your body could bounce back faster, this is your sign. From backyard to bedside, people trust milkweed balm for soothing joints, tired muscles, and healthy, feel-good skin. Try it and feel the difference today. Find milkweed balm at milkweedbalm.com or on Amazon.
Are deer, rabbits, and groundhogs eating the plants you've worked hard to grow? Protect what you've planted with Deer Defeat. Deer Defeat helps protect flowers, hostas, shrubs, vegetables, perennials, and evergreens from deer, rabbits, and groundhogs. Just spray a fine mist on dry plants as directed. It dries clear and becomes odorless to humans after application. And once it sets, rain does not mean starting over. Protect what you've planted. Available in ready-to-use spray or concentrate. Find more out and get yours at DeerDefeat.com. Say goodbye to weeds. Easily remove them, roots and all, with the unique design of the Cobra Head Hand Cultivator, recognized as the world's leading hand weeding tool. Simple design, lightweight, made from forged tempered steel for easy extraction of weeds, plant seeds, rows, and more. Visit CobraHead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order at CobraHead.com. Coupon code valid 1 per customer. Visit JankoGreenhouse.com to improve your garden today. Janko builds the strongest greenhouses on the market, large and small, guaranteed to meet or exceed your building codes, offering a lifetime warranty since 1948. Visit JankoGreenhouse.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. Thank you so much for being with us today. If you want more information about those sponsors and all the companies that support the program and have coupon code availability, our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. Under the Money tab for the coupon code availability and the Season 10 tab for past shows, all of them this year, and all listings of the companies. Well, have you ever been to a farmer's market? We're going to go today, together, collectively, pretend like
virtually.
Oh, that's a word that hasn't come back. Oh, let's not use that word. Virtually, we all went through that.
I like virtual.
Yeah.
Stuff. Anyway, so let's talk about how to find a farmer's market.
Yes.
And there will be a cautionary tale.
Okay.
All right. So you can go to your favorite search engine and type in, search farmer's market near me, farmer's market near my zip code.
Farmer's market, insert zip code here, and it'll pull up how many.
Sometimes there's online guides where it'll be like in this county, and it could be like in your surrounding counties or immediate county.
In Jones County, there's 7 farmers markets during.
Right. So you can do that, but you might, if you're not sure, like if you can't find solid information. A lot of times,
the internet's not always accurate? Holy cow! What?
A lot of times there's links to like the city website or
the municipality that has all the information that goes on in the whole town.
Right,
yeah.
Or like the Chamber of Commerce, whatever. And sometimes you're like, okay, and it doesn't really quite list the correct information.
And their Facebook page hasn't been updated since June 12th, 2017.
Right, and sometimes that's not the worst thing. Sometimes it's just because somebody dropped the ball. Or
we got a website? What?
Right. But sometimes you need to call and be like, because this happened to me.
Yeah.
I was looking for a local farmer's market, and I found one, because I was looking for one open on Thursdays, because I just happened to have a Thursday off, and I was like, oh, I'll see if I can find one on Thursday. And
which should not have been a difficult task.
It seems like they're on Wednesdays, Fridays,
Saturdays and Sundays.
And Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But whatever. So
Mondays are not really the optimal farmer market. And now maybe it may be the hot spot for you in your particular location.
I don't think so. But
okay.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, and I kind of found a Facebook thing, but I wasn't really sure. So then I went to the Chamber of Commerce, or I think I called the city, whoever it was, and I was like, do you guys have a farmer's market still? And the woman was like, I'm not sure. Hold on. And
so that should be a sign there.
That should have been the first. I should have hung up at that point.
Yeah, if you've worked at the city hall for 8 years and the word farmer's market has never occurred or shown up on anything, maybe you don't have one. But anyway, she informed you that.
She told me that. No, they don't.
It's been years.
It had been years. And she was like, no, we just tell people to go to other. There are some that are very close to that one. So it makes sense. But
and was she baffled that you had this information?
Yeah, I said I found it on this like, farmer something in the county write-up thing, and I don't think it was even that old because it had accurate information. So I don't know.
So that's how you find one. And why go to a farmer's market?
Because they're fun.
Well, it is also it gives you the opportunity to get fresh produce, meats, breads, crafts at a much earlier time on the vegetable side than you probably might be getting out of your garden, because some of these farmers have hot houses or high tunnels where they can get 8 or 12 week jump start versus us who have open air gardens in the ground or raised beds.
Right. So yeah,
it's a plethora of knowledge as well. Hey, I'm having problems growing broccoli. This is what I'm doing.
Now,
yes.
if it's busy, don't do that to the farmers.
If it's lull and like, you could throw a baseball and not hit anybody in 20 feet.
So with that being said, if there is a weekday farmers market near you and you go early on in the day, the farmers will have more time to talk to you typically. If it's a weekend one, probably not so much. You can also, ask to email them.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to make sure you are respecting other shoppers and also the farmers and you're not overwhelming them. It's fun to go when it is more slower because sometimes you can get like deals.
Well, here's the other thing. You bring up deals. Yeah. Let's say the farmer's market is Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4, okay? And there is 20 vendors at the city park where you go. If you go about 3:30, and you can get the deals because this produce they do not want to take this home.
Right.
They've picked it that morning, packaged it, brought it to the farmer's market in hopes of going home empty-handed. So if the bag of lettuce is $2 for whatever it is, you could probably go, hey, I know it's like 30 minutes before close. Would you work a deal with me? I'll take 2 of your bags for $1 a piece. 99% of the time, they're going to say, yes, we will do that because it's going to be trash. It's going to the compost.
Absolutely. Or, you also don't know how many farmer markets these farmers work either. So don't be like aggressive.
A little is better than having to take it home and throw it away.
Right. So, what is at a farmer's market? I mean, obviously there's going to be vegetables, fruit, produce, whatever.
Crafts, music.
Sometimes there's crafts, sometimes there's music, sometimes there's hot food like food trucks.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes there's desserts.
It's a whole community.
Sometimes there's cutting boards, soap, bug spray, all sorts of stuff, essential oil stuff. It can be a plethora of a lot of stuff. Sometimes there's ice cream. So you have to, the best part about going to the farmer's market, you're like, I don't know what's at this farmer's market. Then you go and you show up. Now, if you live in a major metropolitan area, and this is your first time going to a farmer's market,
which you should,
I would, if you can, take a day off of work during a weekday and find a weekday one nearby and go experience that during the weekday because it's going to be a lot not as busy as a weekend one. If a weekend one is your only choice, then by all means, but just be prepared for crowds.
Now, another way in which you can kind of analyze what you're getting yourself into is go to that city's Facebook page or type in, fill in the blank farmer's market and see what comes up on your search engine and go to images. And then you can kind of get a range of, oh, that's a humongous, that takes up the whole park. You can kind of look distance in the photographs, or you can see, well, that's just a little parking lot. You can kind of get an idea of what you're going to walk into.
Also, you might have a neighbor or a friend or even like a social media friend who has been to that farmer's market, for example, or they've some of these farmers market have like entertainment. So maybe you know somebody who performed there. So you can find out like what's the deal, what's the parking situation, and that's another thing is what to bring with you. If you might have a ways to walk and you want to buy a lot of produce or whatever, you might want to bring like a wagon or a small little grocery cart if you have that, or at least know that you might want to bring some bags or something.
Park close enough where you can make multiple trips.
If you can.
Yeah. Now, and we've done this, and if you've been to a farmer's market, this is not an exaggeration. You take $20 and go to your big box store, you're going to get like 3 or 4 items. You go to a farmer's market and take $20, you won't have the arms enough to carry it all back to the car.
Right, and that is very true. You can get a good bang for your buck at farmers markets.
Real quick, I went to a farmer's market years ago, and they had table corn. I didn't know what table corn was, never heard about table corn, and it was just like, it looked like sweet corn. So I said, I've never heard of table corn. What is it? He said, it's just sweet corn. We've just had an abundance of sweet corn. And they had it in boxes, like the printer paper boxes, okay, for $8. And there was 27 ears of corn in one box. I bought it. Now, we obviously didn't eat through 27 ears of corn. We ate a good number of them, but 27 ears of corn for $8 in a computer paper box, paper storage, one that had 5 reams on each side, that thing. Great deal. Now, how do you pay for this? Cash, obviously. Cash is king. People want to deal with cash. You don't have service fees. You don't have all these other mangle-dangles. If I gave you $5 for what I'm buying, we don't have to worry about it. The transaction's done. We're good. You don't have to worry about cell phone signal or swiping a card or tapping or anything like that on a
or what's your
cell
zip
phone.
code?
Yeah.
Do you want this email receipt? Yeah.
Right, yeah. Just go to the bank, pull out cash in $5 or $10 income, go to the bank, whatever. Smaller bills are better because it's hard for them to break 20s after 20 after another. So, and then some of these EBT or the food stamps, they will accept that, and for every $1 you spend, it's equivalent of $2. You basically get double your value.
A lot of times they will do that with the EBT cash.
And there's no shame of doing that. If that's where you're at in life and that's what you need, have at it.
It's actually encouraged with these programs.
Right, the healthiness of it.
Yeah, the healthiness of it. So just keep that in mind. I also wanted to, before I forget, there are winter farmers markets. I know where we live. We live in the Milwaukee area. And so
where the show originates.
Yeah, so there's a couple different winter farmers markets within, 20, 30 minutes. So if you live in a small area, you might not have a winter farmers market.
Maybe a day trip.
But yeah, it could be worth a day trip. It could just be, people get bored in winter. So go and have some fun. And those usually, because they're indoors, there's usually some sort of entertainment. And that's fun. And there's like coffee, tea a lot of times. So you could definitely go find a cute little brunch place to go after or before and have fun.
So having fun is not having to clean your house, your shed, your cabin, your barn, because you didn't drag all the stuff, the dirt, debris in, because you used Scrusher's boot cleaner and it was on your porch or right outside your door. And it's made in America.
Yeah, Scrusher is a durable outdoor shoe cleaner. It's a shoe brush station that is built with weather-resistant steel and a black UV powder coated finish for year-round use. Easy to use. They have a few different models, including the deluxe model that has a brush on all 3 sides. It's a little bit more heavy duty. You can even get a personalized base for this. And all it does is you just take your boot, your shoe, whatever you may have, a couple swipes through, and you are good to go to keep all of that dirt, whatever, grime, salt, slush, off of your boots, or take it off your boots and then not into your house
or your shoes.
Or whatever. So you can use code no more dirt 5 to save 5% off and free shipping at checkout at Scrusher.com.
Made in America. Hang out with us. Steve Bender will be with us right after this.
You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Transform your exterior wood surfaces with Rubio Monocoat's new DuraGrit. DuraGrit delivers rugged protection and rich color for decks, siding, pergolas, planter boxes, and all outside wood surfaces. Say goodbye to multiple coats thanks to DuraGrit's incredible patented one-layer technology. Enjoy a vibrant, durable color that won't peel or flake even in the harshest conditions. Rubio Monocoat DuraGrit is tomorrow's UV protection for exterior wood. For every order, Rubio Monocoat USA will plant a tree at a U.S. planting site. Get 10% off DuraGrit when using code Joey at checkout. Learn more at RubioMonocoatUSA.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG26 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That's JUNGSEED.com. Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details details at mantis.com. Ever feel like you have to cover up just to enjoy your backyard? If you're tired of swatting mosquitoes while you're trying to relax or work in the garden, there's a smarter approach. Biogen's mosquito traps use proven attractants designed to specifically target mosquitoes, helping reduce bites around the yard all season long. They're tough on mosquitoes and don't harm bees and butterflies, so you can protect yourself and still protect your pollinators. Rethink mosquito control. Take a look at biogens.com. That's BIOGENTS.com.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Mrs. Wages Canning Products. With Mrs. Wages, it's easy to preserve what you love. Our products seal in flavor so that you can hold on to the taste you love and create new ones to share around the table. Create something special with Mrs. Wages.
Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Want more information about those coupon codes and their availability? Our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page, or the Season 10 tab for all listings of all shows and sponsors.
Scrubby is a natural soap with a scrubber inside that fills the entire sides of the bar. So rather than using harsh synthetic cleaning agents, they use citrus oil, and it's a combination of the scrubber and the citrus oil that creates the ultimate soap for removing dirt, grease, oil, and paint. It's not just for your hands, it's also a superior product for cleaning and artist paintbrushes. So it's good for everybody: artists, painters, gardeners, mechanics. Easily removes paint, oil, grease,
children.
grime. I've used it a number of times, whether it be paint from some sort of crafting I did or in the garden.
And it doesn't mess up your fingernail polish.
It does not mess up my fingernail polish. That is a bonus for sure, because I paint my nails once a week and I don't want them to get all messed up.
So it gets the clean off but doesn't affect the fingernail polish and makes your hands feel good because it's natural.
Right. It doesn't make my hands feel stripped and gross. So you can get 10% off your order using the code SOAP at checkout, and you can go to scrubbysoap.com.
Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Steve Bender is an award-winning author, editor, columnist, and speaker with over 4 decades of experience as garden editor, senior writer, and editor-at-large for Southern Living magazine. Known as the Grumpy Gardener, he shares his horticultural wisdom with Southerners and other folks and garden enthusiasts across the country. Welcome to the program, Steve.
Hi, how y'all doing?
We are doing well. We want to thank you for taking time out of your day, not only to educate Holly and myself and all of our listeners. And I'll start with this. Weeds are always a problem no matter where we're looking at it on our property. And there are many different quote-unquote home remedies that are supposedly safe, but you don't care much for the Epsom salt, vinegar, dish soap, safe weed killer. Why is that? What has occurred that has made you like, no, this is not what we need to be doing?
Well, because it's stupid and it doesn't work, okay? Well, let's just get to the basics here. So people always want something that they read about it they see it on social media, they think on Facebook. The minute it's on social media, that means it must be true. And so then they start spreading it to all their friends. This weed killer, which is composed of liquid detergent and Epsom salt and vinegar, it's just stupid. And I'll tell you why. It may work on weeds that come off through cracks in your sidewalk or something like that, but it's only going to work against annual weeds. So anything that's got a good root system, like a dandelion or something like that, it might burn it to the ground, but then it's going to grow right back. And if you look at what is in this stuff, this magical mixture that's being touted all over the social media, first thing, it's dishwashing detergent. It has to be Blue Dawn. That's the one that you will see in every post on Facebook. It can't be Pink Dawn. It's so misogynistic. It has to be Blue Dawn. Okay, so what does that do? Well, detergents when they hit plants, basically what they're doing if you're targeting weeds is you're dissolving the waxy coating on the leaves, and then what happens is the plant loses a lot of moisture through its foliage. It's no longer protected, and it dries out. So the top of the plant just basically turns brown and wilts, and you think you've killed it. That only works if it has a very shallow root system. If it has, a robust root system like perennial weeds, well, the tops will die, and then they'll just come right on back. Okay, so that's the first ingredient. Then the second ingredient they use, they say, is vinegar. Now, vinegar works kind of like the dish soap does. It dissolves a waxy coating on the leaves, and they all turn brown, and you think you've done a wonderful thing. Well, I really killed that one. Well, yeah, but if it's perennial weed, it'll come back. But here's the thing also about vinegar. The stuff that you get for the kitchen, if the kitchen vinegar, it'll always says reduced to 5% acidity because it's acetic acid, okay? But you can go to a home store and you can buy horticultural vinegar. And that stuff is 30% acetic acid. And that stuff is really hot. And so not only are you going to be killing the weed you're aiming for, you're going to be killing all the beneficial soil microbes that are in the soil. And if you happen to splash it in your eyes, you could go blind. If you put it on your skin, you can get blisters. It's not really a good idea. And then the final ingredient of this makes absolutely no sense. It's Epsom salt. Epsom salts are magnesium sulfate. Magnesium and sulfur are two essential plant nutrients. So basically what you're doing is you're putting fertilizer on the weeds. So that's just kind of insane.
Yeah, that's fantastic information. Thank you. So you encourage people to fill in the bare areas of their lawn with sod versus seeding the grass. Why would sod be a better remedy, and any other tips around that?
Okay. Well, that really depends on where in the country you live. If you live in the southern part of the country where I do, I live in Alabama, and down here we use warm season grasses like zoysia and Bermuda and St. Augustine and stuff like that. The problem with seeding those is that those seeds come up really, really slowly and sporadically. And by the time they actually do germinate, you've probably got a dozen different kinds of weeds growing in the spot anyway. So it's not a good solution. I would not recommend trying to find zoysia seed or St. Augustine seed to fill bare spots. And that's why I say just go out and buy yourself, a slab of sod, cut it into pieces if you need to, put it into the space that you need to put it in, water it in, and then you've got an instant patch. Now, if you happen to live in the northern half of the United States where, let's say, they grow mostly bluegrass and fescue, then seed is a really good option. You can use sod, but you can also go back and just get bluegrass seed or fescue seed and just sprinkle it in the bare spot, keep it watered, and it will come up and fill in.
Now, we all know time is ticking away. Summer won't be here forever. Soon fall will arrive. What are some fall mistakes that you can advise Holly and myself and all of our listeners to avoid doing?
Well, one thing I would say is has to do with pruning. A lot of people, by the end of the summertime, things have been growing a lot, and maybe they've let them get out of control a little bit. Hasn't been top of mind. And so they say, well, they're going to bring everything back into a nice, orderly fashion in the garden. They go out with the pruning shears or with the loppers, and they just lay waste to the garden. They're going to make it nice and clean and neat for the wintertime. The problem is if you have plants that shrubs, trees, whatever, that bloom in the springtime, let's say forsythia or lilacs, or azaleas or rhododendrons and things like that, they've already, by the fall, formed all the flower buds they're going to use to bloom for spring. So if you go out and prune them at that time, you are going to be sadly disappointed come the spring because you're going to get no blooms. So one thing you have to remember when you're pruning in the fall is if you're pruning a blooming plant, if it's a spring plant, you want to wait till after it finishes blooming in the spring. If it's a summer bloomer, in the fall, you can prune it at that time.
Fantastic. So your garden has been recognized as a certified wildlife habitat by the National Wildlife Federation. Congratulations. What does that mean, and what does that entail for you?
Oh, that means I'm a very privileged person in my neighborhood. And everybody comes around, looks at my sign, gives me the thumbs up, invites me over for barbecue. Well, actually, what that is that it means that you have designated a place on your property. In my case, it's my backyard, where you say that aiding wildlife is a priority. So you have to do a few things in order to make that true. First of all, you need to provide food for wildlife. So if you have a bird feeder out there, if you have shrubs that have berries and fruit and stuff like that wildlife can eat, that's one. So you have a food source. Second, logically, you should then have a water source because they need to drink. So if you put a bird bath out there or a fountain, something where when it's hot and dry, they can get water, you're going to attract a lot of wildlife, and that's a good thing. So now the third thing is you need to provide shelter, because let's say you're trying to have a lot of birds and things like that in your garden. Well, being on the ground is kind of a dangerous thing for a bird when you think about all the other things that are hunting for birds. So if you have shelter in the form of, maybe a perimeter of shrubbery, or you have trees around where they can go up and perch and feel safe between making trips to your feeder, that's a really good thing. And, of course, they need shelter also when there's bad weather, when it's cold weather. Now, maybe the shelter will also supply the fourth ingredient, which is a place to build nests and to have places where they can reproduce. So those are kind of like four things that you kind of commit to. And then logical extensions of that are that you minimize use of, broad spectrum pesticides and stuff like that, which if you're aiming at a single pest might, end up killing about 100 other things too. So you just have to be mindful and read the label and try and cause as little negative impact to wildlife as you can.
Absolutely. Now, some people in the garden industry have nicknames. You're known as the Grumpy Gardener. How did you acquire that name? And was there a specific person that gave you that name?
Well, it just comes from the fact that when people ask me questions, a lot of times they already have the answer they want in mind. And if it happens to be wrong, I tell them that. I get questions like, well, my tree didn't leaf out last year. You think if I leave it, maybe it'll leaf out next year? It's like it just skips a year in growth.
Right.
Like,
it was dead
like
last year. It'll
do,
come
right?
back alive. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. So, stuff like that, it'll just skip a year. No, so people just kind of, sometimes they don't want to hear the truth. I was given the name Grumpy Gardener by a coworker at Southern Living, when we were trying to come up with a name, they had a lot of other adjectives they wanted to use for me, but they're not usable on the air. So we just settled for Grumpy Gardener.
And then you get people who ask you a question, they're leading you on to the answer that they want to hear, so they feel good, like, okay, I've done the right thing. And it's just completely opposite.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I want people to succeed.
Yes.
In what they're doing. And sometimes the truth hurts. Mm-hmm. But you got to tell them, when they send you these pictures, these really pathetic pictures of dying plants, and why they're dying. It's because of the person taking care of it. So you have to tell them the truth and say, stop doing that.
Right.
I don't know if that makes you grumpy. It just makes you real. But we're familiar with the sad, pathetic plant pictures for sure. Well, we've really enjoyed having you on the program today. Can you tell people how to find more about you and your great information, and how to get in contact with you? Okay.
Well, one good way is there's a couple ways. First, if you're a subscriber to Southern Living, my Grumpy Gardener column appears every month and is naturally the most read feature in the whole magazine. Second is I do a Grumpy Gardener Facebook page, which is there all the time. And you can go on that page, and if you have a question about any kind of plant or you're having a problem, you can just send it to me, and you will get an answer back. Everybody gets an answer back, and it doesn't matter where you live. I mean, you could be living up in French Lick, Indiana. Doesn't make any difference to me. I will answer your question. The third thing, if you want to find out more about me, just go to your local post office and look up at the pictures they got on the wall and see if anyone looks like me.
Well, Steve, we greatly appreciate the time, the information, not only for Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. We thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's going to be your garden questions and our garden answers.
You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and businesses through more than 3,500 drop points across all 50 states, making it easy to get everything you need in one simple pickup. As a natural health food distributor, Azure brings bulk and specialty items to communities nationwide. They offer more than 12,000 products that meet their clean ingredient standards, high quality, non-GMO, organic, and naturally sourced. You'll find everything from groceries, health and beauty items, and household essentials to nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even gardening products. Simply put, Azure Standard has something for just about every part of daily living. Visit azurestandard.com and use promo code JoeyandHolly15 at checkout to get 15% off your first order of $100 or more when you open a new account and ship to the drop location of your choice. Visit azurestandard.com. That's AZURE standard.com. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at summitresponsiblesolutions.com.
Get in your garden with Diggs. From gardening gloves to accessories, storage, organization, and more, Diggs products combines form and function with a splash of fashion and are ideal for women who possess a passion for plants and enjoy harnessing the beauty of nature. Steeped in color and pattern, Diggs gloves are inspired by nature and are designed to protect your most valuable assets, your hands. Get your Diggs on at DiggsGardening.com, the Home Depot, Amazon, and search for it by name, D-I-G-Z, DiggsGardening.com.
Get higher yields with durable green bed raised garden bed kits designed to be drainable, breathable, pest resistant, and long lasting. DurableGreenBed.com. Abundance guaranteed. Well, summer's in full swing now, and look who's back. Those nasty Japanese beetles, and they are ready to wreak havoc on your garden and everything in it.
If you're looking to successfully control beetles without damaging the environment, look no further than Beetle Gone from BeetleGone.com. Derived from a naturally occurring soil bacteria, Beetle Gone is the only organic solution that successfully controls beetle invaders. Just mix the powder with water and spray it on your plants. Once ingested, the targeted pests will stop feeding and die. And since it's an organic BT product, you know it's a great choice to use on your fruits and veggies, in addition to your ornamental flowers and trees.
Not only does Beetle Gone work, but what I like most about this product is that it is safe to use around beneficials such as ladybugs, butterflies, and bees. And it has no issue with water toxicity. Check it out and get yours today at BeetleGone.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. More information you want to find out on those sponsors that support the program, our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Money tab for the coupon code availability, and the Season 10 tab for all listings and past shows in podcast form for your ease of listening. It's time for your garden questions and our garden answers. Send them on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll free coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. We're going to go to the hotline. We've got several questions for us to work through.
Yeah, it's Ed, Worthington, Minnesota. The question is, a friend of mine says she has a lot of ants in the lawn. I not ever heard of that much ants in the lawn. Don't know what the name of them are. And so I'm wondering what environmentally friendly chemical or could we use on them, and maybe what are they? Alexa says sugar ants. Coffee. Okay, coffee grounds. All right.
Well, Ed, thank you for your question. Ants in the lawn, some people may not be bothered by it. Other people want to kind of control that. There is some, it's without an image, it's probably just traditional black ants, but there is some possibilities of removal, and here's how you do it.
Yeah, so what you would want to do is you can apply a granular insecticide, something with bifenthrin.
Yep.
In it with a spreader. That's probably one way. And
what will occur with any application is the worker ants will take it to the queen, or if there's different colonies, the queens in different colonies, and then that queen will ingest it. It will die, and because the queen is dead, the colony collapses because it has no leadership.
Right. And I mean, I don't know if I guess what my concern is, or my question is, why are the ants bothering?
Yeah, what's the significance of the removal of the ants?
Are they causing issues? I don't know. I think there's just ants everywhere. But yeah.
That's one way to go about doing it. All right, let's go over to Colorado.
My name's Marilyn. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I listen on 1360. I don't know the call letters. What I'm calling about, I have never planted lily balls. Well, I planted 3 this year. I love they're highly fragrant. But here's my problem. I saw the little tops of them coming through the mulch, and they're now gone. I believe it's either the rabbit friends or my squirrel friends got it. I have both in the yard all the time, in spite of my dog. But what I'm wondering is, will it be worth it to dig the balls to hold over and try again for next spring? And that would be with me putting some kind of protection around them. So thank you so much.
Well, Marilyn, we appreciate the phone call, and I don't know if animals that are eating your plants are considered friends in our world, but what we can do is you don't have to dig them up.
No, you can keep the bulbs where they are, and you just want to, even starting now, put some protection around them. They will grow next spring.
Right. I would put some kind of like 1 inch or 2 inch poultry fencing around it with little stakes, and for the matter of just put a cap over top of it, at least right now,
Right.
and they'll be fine. So appreciate that phone call. Let's go over to the Philadelphia area.
My name's Anthony, and I'm calling concerning something's eating my zucchini and vine plants, the small, minute holes in a lot of leaves. And what type of chemical can I get to stop that?
Okay.
So now that this is an issue, you want to attack a different approach. But if you do get this issue year after year, one thing you can do is get floating row covers. Those are very popular for dealing with things like this, but it's typically flea beetles or cucumber beetles that are eating the leaves, putting the tiny holes in them. So you can use a diatomaceous earth. You can use something called Captain Jack, and that is
It'll kill the flea beetles,
and it has
and
something called bonide in it.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do like a home remedy with diatomaceous earth and neem oil, that's an option. You can also look under the leaves and see what might be there eating it. If you can find it, then you can determine if it's like a cucumber beetle or a flea beetle and do a little bit of...
Now, they're going to be tiny.
Yeah.
They're going to be tiny.
Yeah, so that might, if you don't have the best eyesight or whatever, that might not help, but you could determine that way. If it's something else like slugs, that's very unlikely, but they can eat things. So yeah.
If you want to be like Ed, Marilyn, or Anthony, send us. You can give us a call toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW, and we will get an answer to you as in a timely manner. Next question: can I transplant beets and Swiss chard? Well,
I'm kind of curious why you want to. I wonder if they mean seedlings or if they.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go with seedlings because Swiss chard you can kind of grow all year round,
right.
And beets are a cool spring into summer harvest, and then late summer into fall plant and harvest. Beets is a root crop. You can people will do it. They'll buy them. They'll have them at the garden center. We've gone through that route before on this program about how you shouldn't buy root crops and then try to transplant them. You put your beet in the soil. The seed, it's going to have a cluster seed, a beetroot, whatever the verbiage you want to use for the title of that particular plant. And then as it sprouts, you're going to have 2 to 5 different seedlings out of that one cluster seed that you're going to have to trim off until you get one seedling total. Otherwise, you're not going to have any bulbing. Swiss chard, on the other hand, you want that cluster seed because it's going to put off different shoots. And you've got rainbow color stems. You've got burgundy. You've got white. You've got yellow stems. Those it can be transplanted as seedlings very easily. The root crop of the beet, not so much. Freezer talk. Suggestions for a first timer here with the expectation of a large harvest of a variety of different items. We've been suggested to get a stand-up style deep freeze to help with organization. Is this the best choice?
I'm going to say yes. It does help with organization. I think you do lose a little bit of like square footage because of the drawers.
Right, because you're not just throwing everything into a box and then you have to dig it all out.
But Joe and I both have a stand-up one.
It's camouflage. Can't find the sucker.
And a chest freezer. And sometimes I don't like having to dig through the chest one because it gets cold.
The thing that you always want is at the bottom.
Yes. Yes. But it does come in handy, like if you get a good deal on some frozen food items and you know that you're not going to need those right away. But items that we do want to access sooner than later, I like to put in the stand-up freezer, including like any sort of frozen vegetable, fruit, whatever. That way it's easier to get to and utilize. So I would suggest, like, if you are going to use it for freezing harvest, I would definitely get the stand-up one. Yes, you do lose a little bit of
the square footage,
but it's worth it because you having access to whatever you are trying to have access to is going to be a lot easier. Now, if it doesn't make sense to have a door that swings open in the space, then a chest freezer, the door swings up, something to also consider. And
that was one of the things that we looked at when my grandmother was still alive. She had an upright freezer and there's, and a chest freezer. And I forget the conversation was, and she enjoyed the upright, though it was less space. All the meat and was organized. All of everything was organized in which she didn't have drawers in hers. It was just like a refrigerator shelf thing. Yeah. And it was, I don't know, probably 1978 or whatever. Yeah. Those things will outlast you, and it did.
Right.
But it certainly, the drawers for ours makes it very convenient that this can all be this item, this can all be this item, and it's easy to access. Though the chest freezer is good for long-term larger items.
Like if you were to
like
do
roast or that type of thing. So, well, with that, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Missed any portion of the program, we would like to revisit it. You can certainly do that by going to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Season 10 tab at the top of the page. And phone calls are always welcome 24/7. Tune in to the program next week where we'll be discussing what options you have to use up all that zucchini that you will currently or soon will be getting out of your garden, as well as interesting good bugs you can find in your garden, our monthly Chatter Spot segment, and we'll answer more of your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.